how's everyone going? Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is working on the walls of our wharf. And what we've got going on here is we have one layer, which is going to end up here at about this height, and it's going to go down and meet up with this layer over here. And eventually there is going to be some terrain shaping, so we don't have to worry about that. And then this layer is going to come down, and we're going to be able to come down these steps. And we're going to put a lovely, awesome pattern along here, so we can basically have something look amazing and cool and all of that. And right now we are in the wall, so that's a thing. And then in here, we go across here. And then we go down here. And bada bing, bada boom, we are on the ground floor, where all the sea is. And the water. The much water that exists. So, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead, and I'm thinking that we'll work on the walls for starters, and we'll get around to everything else afterwards. So, one of the things that we need to look out for while doing this is the fact that basically these, well, this is the ground floor right there. This step doesn't exist. And what we're going to be doing is it won't be all of that. It's basically like that. We just remove some of that and like so, just for a general idea. There we go. Perfect. And what that does is it means that we're going to have it all just smooth out, flow nice, look good. Yeah. And over here, what's going to happen is we'll have sort of a general pattern of pillars and stuff like that, so that everything comes down in pillars, and we can add a mosaic patterning, because when ships come in, we want it to look fancy. But this is the second wave of walls to be stopping things like tsunami and things like that, or at least helping stop tsunami, because you can't really stop tsunami. So it's helping stop storms, I think would be the best way to describe it. So what we can do is, if we go ahead and we just mark out where we want pillars, and if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about there. And we'll have to be going like this. Hey Tibu, how are you going? So today we're working on the wharf, and specifically on the wharf walls. And so what we got is we got the first wall. Yeah, sure. So right now, this is where we left off last time, of course. Oh no, you left early, so this is what the wharf pattern looked like. If we zoom out, you'll be able to see. Looking fancy and posh. And this is what it looks like from the water. All snazzy. Yeah. And these, the lightning rods, will eventually go green. And then what we're going to be doing with these walls, these ones here, and that one back there, the stone one, is we're going to be putting a whole bunch of patterns on them, so that they don't look like big blocks of color. Because I have been placing down the same pattern of stuff in all sorts of places for a while, and I'm getting a little bit bored of it for a bit. So we're mixing it up because also if we go not like that, but if we go up here and then we take another set of stairs and we go up this way and then over here, I've also been working on this behind the scenes, and now we have a tree which still needs its leaves. It's a work in progress. But we also have a big, like, what do you call it? It's kind of like a roundabout thing with the tree and stuff going on. But there has been much placing of this. So I'm like, I would really appreciate not to be putting down white blocks. So I have broken out many terracotta blocks for this, of which we will be using. We have light blue and much glazed terracotta, which I am looking forward to using. I like glazed terracotta much. I like glazed terracotta a lot. There we go. That's English. That sounds like English right there. And I picked up some packed ice because I was like, hey, this looks like something we can use. I'm not sure where we'll put it in, but I'm sure we will find a spot. And I was like, yeah, this seems logical. And cyan looks like something that can be mixed in. So yeah, that is where we're at. But let's just stick all of these in the right places. Although my shulker boxes are slowly turning into a mess. But that is future problems. Speaking of future problems, another future problem is the fact that I have a sneaking feeling that my computer is starting to have memory problems with the mods. So we may have to be, I may have to actually be reviewing what mods are actually installed on this soon, because ooh, I've run into memory exception errors a couple of times recently, and it's just like, this is not great. So yeah, that is something that's going to be happening soon. So I'm sort of considering reviewing the mods I have and being like, yes and no, depending on what mods I can and can't get rid of. Like, I know I could get rid of Origins and return to being just an ordinary Minecraft person without too much hassle. But like, it doesn't affect gameplay too much, and it would be nice to build underwater, but I just don't know. And they're like, yes, but no. And I'll have to test Terralith to see if I can remove that, because that one's definitely a big memory chug. And I definitely can't get rid of Create. 1, Create's awesome. 2, it introduces many blocks. So it's going to be interesting times ahead. Oh, I definitely have. Like, I've seen a couple of mods that caught my eye. Like, it would definitely depend on the mod. Like, I'm not big on combat mods. And they would have to be mods that I was actually able to introduce to a pre-existing world. Like, while I was busy cruising the net last night, I saw a really cool one called Sword and Sorcery, and I was like, oh, that is really cool. Because it revamps the entire enchanting and magic system into a more RPG-like system. And I was like, ooh, magic. But I think that would be one that I couldn't dive in just willy-nilly. That would definitely be one to like full-on test out and stuff. Also, the Aether is finally having a renewed version, and that's got me excited too. And so, like, I'd rather enjoy trying that one out, or at least doing a semi playthrough of it, if not a world. I'm sure I had some slabs. Oh well, never mind. But yeah, so if I can't get the whole memory issue problem fixed, then there may be some housekeeping in the future. I forgot to turn these into slabs. And like, it's quite interesting because you look at the different mods out there and the way they deal with different things. I was looking. Why am I going back to the main hall when I have all this stone with me? This is why I bring my stone with me, so I don't have to go back to the main hall. Yep. There we go. Perfect. Okay. We can just fill these in. It's when you actually go ahead and... Nope, brain empty. Sorry, it seems like a brain empty kind of day. I've been trying very hard this morning. It's just not working. I'm thinking if we go with a sort of... I had this written down. I had this pattern written down. The pattern plan. Oh dear. Oh dear. I think we're just going to have to wing it because I have also... Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Because I was also planning on using some blue concrete in with this. But my blue concrete has sort of disappeared into the ether. And I don't know where it's gone. It's just gone poof. And I have no idea where to find it. I spent like 10 minutes looking for it this morning. I've tried at both my bases. Today has just been a day of nothing going right. It's just been a mess. I think what we need is the dark blue terracotta rather than the glazed terracotta. And just bringing in those sea vibes, I think is what we need. So the good thing about terracotta is, like, I really like glazed terracotta. And you get so much... What would you call it? Variation in how it works. also like, it's my Minecraft, it crashed 3 times over the weekend trying to just do things. And not even serious things either. It was a mess. Like, you wouldn't believe it. Get some of that. Oh! Some of that going. And we do not have the dark blue terracotta. On the bright side, I was able to watch a lecture on voxels versus, what was it called? Entropy collapse. So voxels is what makes up Minecraft. It's how Minecraft is made. And entropy collapse produces a similar effect, but it's sort of like the next stage in procedural generation. And it was really cool looking at the compare and contrast, basically. In here? No, in here. There we go. And yeah. So with voxels, there's lots of different ways to make voxels work. One of them is with Minecraft, it takes 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, sorry, 6 points. It's a cube. The amount of points that's on a cube. And it goes, yes, there are 6 points. That's a cube. It exists. Congratulations. And then it figures out that there's a cube there, and it divides up the world into cubes. And then it generates the world. And then from there, you basically get what fills in the world. And in that, the limitations are the fact that, hey, the world is cubes. That being said, there are other ways to do it. Like, you can take those points, and if some of them are missing, say, I don't have a stair on me, but see how half of the points are missing because it's a slab? It would say, yeah, there's only half the points. That would make it a slab. But in another way called, what was it called? A marching cubes. What it does is it takes those points on the bottom and the fact that there are 4 points up here, and it would make a diagonal line. So when you see all those smooth renders where it's like Minecraft but with curves type thing, that, like, looking at that and looking at the general renders, I'm guessing that's how it was made. And it's just like, oh, cool. Go figure. And then on top of that, so on top of that, you have also got, okay. On top of that, you also got various other ways, but the marching cubes and the Minecraft way were the 2 ways that I was, the 2 ways that I was most interested in, and the 2 ways that were most explained. And then you had what was basically the new way, which was entropy collapse, which was where it was basically asking the computer to solve Sudoku puzzles. And actually, we have a good example. So if we go over here and we look at the floor, which I know, weird example, So you see how we have all of these different materials, right? And you have the limestone touching the cut limestone, and the calcite touching the bone, and everything else. But they're in patches. And you go to the computer and you're like, yes, we can have these patches, but you can't have one patch touching another patch of the same type. And the computer is like, okay, that is a rule. And then you're like, and the patches can be between this side and this size. And the computer's like, okay, that's another rule. And of course, every tile is a specific size. And so the computer's like, okay, that's another rule. And then from there, the computer goes ahead and picks a tile, starts with that tile, and then procedurally generates all of the tiles involved and makes Minecraft or makes a game or does whatever. And that makes the game. And that is the wrong thing. You want some straight lines here? Not there. And yeah. There? Nope. Nope. There. And that is probably the most simplified way, but probably the most understanding that I have been able to give that game, that way of doing it. But yeah, it's very fascinating. And I do not think oops. This is going to be something to wake up to. Oh. There we go. Perfect. I like your sword. Can I have it? Thank you. Now we can hang it up on the wall. So, in doing that, you can, like, most of the examples were 2D for the entropy collapse. But there were examples where you were able to actually make it so that you were running around like an infinite city or things like that, which was so cool. And seeing like the possibilities of actually being able to take it and go ahead and just, I did not do this correctly. 1, 2, 3, and then, okay, cool. I did not do this correctly at all. 1, 2, 1, 2. This was supposed to be here. Actually, I think I'll move this over one. No, I'll move this there and then move that there. And then this can stay here. And that should be much better. And we can ignore that one entirely. Perfect. And like one of the examples was actually the computer building a completely randomly generated level for a video game. What was it called? Bad North. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. Wait, 1, 2, 3. There. 1, 2, 3. And the person who designed the game, I wish I remembered his name. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with names. 1, 2, 3. Basically showed how the computer, one of the rules was the computer was looking for large, like it was looking to make larger areas for the player to walk around. You needed houses, and houses needed to be connected to be able to be walked around to the sea and things like that. So those were rules that are required for the game. And just like we make decisions when we're building buildings, the game was using those to actually build levels. So yeah, total coolness. And there were, like, there was a lot of jargon involved, and yeah, it was totally insane. Yeah. So the way it was broken down was just like Minecraft. You had, what happened was there was like various tiles of different shapes, different sizes. Let's grab something else that's a tile shape. So you'd have various tiles. And so you'd have tiles like this, and you'd say that this side can connect to only this side, and when it goes, you'd have this side going along, and it would be able to connect like this, right? But this side couldn't connect like this. It can only connect like that. So that's where this tile can come in. And this tile can connect both this way and this way, right? So you could have, yes, much like dominoes. So this tile can go like this, any which way it wants, right? And so now this tile can go like this again. And it can have some of that. And then you can have some of this. In fact, it could go like that if it wanted. And you could have patches of that. But then this tile comes along and it can connect on the sides. And only on the sides. And it can connect to itself, but not to purple. Which is where the slab comes in. Because it can connect to both purple and like that. So you end up with a mix. And you end up with all sorts of things like that. And in with that, because like these might be tree tiles, or this might be a forest tile, or this might be a pond tile and stuff like that. So in all of that, you end up with a really cool, well, what I'm describing sounds like it would be a field of some sort. But it's randomly generated so that it actually is preset. And you can actually like make samples for the program to learn off for starters. So the program's like, oh, I see that you can actually clump bushes together so that it's not just really random and AI, really bad AI looking and stuff like that. So by doing that, you're actually able to make it look really, really good and professional looking too. And it's just like, wow. Oh yeah, game design is so cool. Like, I wanted to be a game designer, but my body just would not be able to stand the work hours and stuff, so like, well, not a game designer, concept artist. But yeah, so and then like you'd be able to make and when it comes to the 3D side of things, what happens is you take the what are they called? Model pieces, the 3D tiles, because you break down your scene into 3D tiles, aka your Minecraft blocks. Although these are voxels, they don't count. And you organize it so that they're all broken down, and you can have it so that some of them are paired together. So you might be able to say that this double forest pairing or this water forest pairing is actually one tile to the computer sometimes, but only sometimes. And the computer's like, okay, we can have that as one tile sometimes. And does that look good? Okay, yeah, that looks very old school. Let's see how we can fix that up. I'm kind of thinking if we go through with a bit of if we put some blue stained glass over top of that, that'll look better. Wait, do we have the light blue stained glass with us? No, we do not. And by doing that, it adds both the randomization that... No problem. Like, I really enjoy going and watching these sorts of things and then like learning about it and breaking it down. So, hey, these sorts of things are definite enjoyments of mine. Wait, although, is that for the Minecraft stuff or the video game stuff? Because both of these are fun. I'm kind of thinking that we should replace the blue terracotta with what's it called? Stone brick, just so that it matches the rest of the build though. Do we have any? Yes, we do. Okay. And so I believe there is actually one, two, three, four, five. Wait, 1, 2, 3. There's where it's supposed to go. I think there is a game that's modeled off entropy collapse that I can think of. Actually, just a moment. Bad North. Oh yeah, Bad North is actually a game. By who is this by? Robert Ragnar Ross. There we go. I should have just Googled this. There we go. That's perfect. Google for the win. But yeah. Okay, so I'm thinking if we go with a bit of light blue stained glass on top of the end stone, then that'll actually just help pop everything out and smooth everything over and not give it that 1.5, 1.6 look that it sort of looks like right now. Because if we go back, we can sort of look at this and be like, yeah, this is, yeah, that needs it. I think that's kind of like, oof. It looks a bit raw. Like, it's really cool seeing how far video game design has come. It's like, too high. It's like with Skyrim, for example. I think that came out in 2011. And the way Skyrim was built was they took specific set pieces, and this was pretty big in their time. And they took specific set pieces and they cut them up and they place them all around the world. And basically, what happened was they used those set pieces to repeat and repeat to make the dungeons and things like that. So when you look at the place, that was a shovel, not a pick. So when you look at the place, once you're on your second or third playthrough of your Draga dungeons, they're pretty repetitive. But by cutting up the pieces, it still feels somewhat fresh and new, because even though they're the same pieces, it's still it's new enough, if you get what I mean. Like, everything's still there in a different order. That and the game is so easy to mod. It's ridiculous easy. So you end up with, well, if you're modding it, you can end up with Thomas the Tank Engine attacking you from the sky. There we go. Perfect. I'm kind of thinking, like, which one is the better one? Okay, what do we think? In-stone exposed? In-stone covered? I'm kind of actually leaning towards in-stone covered. Like that looks appealing to me. Because with the in-stone covered, it all blends together quite well. And it just meshes quite nicely. Like, yeah, I think we'll go in-stone covered. Okay. Bump. Perfect. And what we'll do for these parts is we will bring the stone out and we'll put a pattern over the stairs. That is one block too high. Okay. Perfect. And this gives us our pretty stairs. Because by doing that, we should be able to just go ahead and work on it. Or work on it at another point. Something like that. Boom. Well, with colored glass, you're actually able to go ahead and make a lot of nuance in your colors, especially if you layer your glass, because when you go ahead and you go one glass like that and then one glass like that, can we squat down? Will it let us? And then, let's actually build it up a bit. And then like that. Versus we go ahead and knock that out. And then I have removed the blue. Wait, oh, there's my concrete. I spent like ages looking for this. It was missing. It was like, so long. But anywho, right, colored glass. You can get so much color variation, and not only that, if you go, yeah, like, I think I was looking for it for at least like half an hour. Like, oh, I put myself through too much stress for that. Too much stress. Not worth it. 10 out of 10. Okay. Alright. But, so you see how that's very blandly coloured, right? And then you can go ahead and go like this. What's wrong with my lighting engine? But going this way, you can see how it's not so blandly coloured. It's two different colours when you look through. Yeah. And not only that, but if you stack your light blues, wait, where is my light blues at? Yeah. You can actually go ahead and get a completely different effect. And you can actually get almost an opaque look. And so by doing that, you can actually go ahead and the more glass you stack, or at least with a what would you call it? A vanilla lighting engine. So I'm not entirely sure if this is how my lighting engine is working at the moment, because some things are a bit screwball in the background. But if we go this way and up here, so if you dig down 16 blocks and then do a layer of glass every second block, you're able to get a full-on opaque look. And you can go and mix up whatever colors of glass you want to get this look. And if you put lighting at the bottom, you can have the most amazing color reflections as well. Like, you can go for the most brightest orangey red by mixing oranges and reds with a little bit of yellow, because it's just like mixing paints. And that'll give you your, like, hellfire red, if you want to go with that look. And it's way safer than doing magma or lava. And you can actually stick your lava at the bottom. Like, I haven't gone the full depth because you can see the fact that there is still, what do you call it? End stone at the bottom. But I figured, well, by the point, like, I think I went 7. Yeah, I think I went 7 layers of glass on this. Because I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. But yeah. And you can also do things like making it opaque with tinted glass at the back, and then sticking sea lanterns or your lighting block of choice in the mix. Because doing stuff like that really helps sell these bright, intense lights and stuff like that. It's great. And you can also, like, if you're doing it as a flooring, like over there, you can mix in stained glass panes and have that really cool cross pattern going on. Da-da-da. Speaking of which, we need to do a border on this wall. Otherwise, we're going to have a bit of awkwardness going on. Yep. And doing stuff like that, like, I think it sells, like, just, if you're doing a magic place, it really helps sell it. Because, like, you can have these really cool glowing floors and you're not going to end up, like, smacking yourself into the floor or into lava, magma, etc. Okay. So I figure if we go with the blue terracotta and we do something similar to what we did over there with the line, and then what we do is we go ahead and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we go with one of those in the wrong place. Because if we go like that, then we can actually we bring that forward a bit. Then we can go ahead and we can have a bit of fun with probably some of this so that it's tying into that. And then we can just sneak a couple of shroom lights once we have them. We don't have them today, but we can get them over the week or sometime. Possibly never. Never is also an option. Never is always an option. And just slip them in, which I think will look good. There we go, perfect. Because if we do that and then we add the rest, that is a slab of a lot of colour. But we can work with it. We can absolutely work with it. I'm pretty sure we can work with it. Like, it's also really cool to see how games evolve over time. Like, and how different, what would you call it? Different game companies take inspiration from each other. Not just there's a lot of a block of colour. There's a very lot. Okay. Going to do this. And so when you see that, it's like, okay, cool. And then they go ahead and you see, like, what would you call it? Roguelikes taking inspiration from RPGs and stuff like that, and it just merging and flowing. That was probably a bad example, but still. Hey. Like, I was watching someone, what? They used a picture of a cardinal, and that is a very bad talking point. But they were talking about the state of wizard games, and like the descriptions of how basically with wizard games, it's not just how you throw spells and stuff like that, how it makes you feel to be a wizard. And it really got me thinking on, is being a wizard in a game throwing lasers, or is it the combinations of the magic to make the laser actually do the laser thing? Or is it something else? Like, it actually got me thinking, and then it made me wonder, like, you know, is any wizard game a wizard game? Like, or is it an RPG dressed up as a wizard game? I'm kind of thinking that we should remove this extra pillar and swap it out. Like, I think we're onto something with the glazed terracotta and the texturing, but I don't think we've got the right move with the extra stuff. So if we, like, I'd love to just say we slap it with some glass and be done with it, but I'm not sure that's the right move in this situation. Is that a lot? Actually, if we go ahead and we slap it with some light blue terracotta instead of some light blue glazed, I think that'd probably do it. Like, it's definitely hard working with such flat textures in regards to comparing to work with all of these other textured textures. It's like, okay. I'm kind of thinking that we can also go ahead and make arches, which will also help. So if we go ahead, actually doing the arches would be a good idea. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 7. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. 1, 2, 3. Am I counting this right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. Cool. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yes, we are on the right count. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Like, I kind of wonder, like, because it's kind of a curse for all creative professions. You get the glamorous life of, yeah, I totally do video games. Yeah, I'm the coolest person. But in behind the scenes, it's like, yeah, I work like 80 hours a week. And that's in the boring hours. Then comes crunch time. And then it's like, I slept 2 hours this week. And then it's like, yes, I am loving my life. And it's just like, go live your life. I'm sure you're loving it. But then again, you get to see your name on a video game, and it's just like, So, I suppose for the people who have that as their, like, it depends on the company. Like, some companies have much better employee practices than others. And, like, when I was researching, getting into it, the hours were definitely long. They were very, very long. And also it was and is very competitive because of the fact that, wait, where did I put the terracotta? Oh no, it was in here. Because of the fact that it was, possibly still is, considered a very, very glamorous job because, hey, you work at a video game company. Of course it's really cool. Like, yeah, and so, like, take for instance, was it Doom or Doom Eternal? The soundtrack designer for Doom Eternal was given 2 weeks to produce 16 tracks of music. And then, I may be misquoting this here, but I do know, from what I understand, the dude got screwed over every which way after that. And he wasn't attributed. I don't remember in which way he was screwed over. But yeah. And that sort of thing isn't completely unheard of. So it's like, yeah, it's not the greatest. And also, when I was looking for stuff, in my country, there isn't. I think there's like one game design company, and the rest is stuff around Weta Digital, who is associated with Peter Jackson, the movie guy who did Lord of the Rings, Tintin, and that sort of thing. But it's kind of like, yeah, because if you're just starting out, it's a big ask to just up stakes and go to basically the other side of the world and try to work on a contract, because you're on a contract for like 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years, for a job that you won't be guaranteed you'll be getting a new job afterwards. And sometimes the pay isn't that great either, especially if you're on the lower rungs. But that being said, like, for those that choose the job, or the job chooses them, because if you're creative, then it's in your blood. It's in your soul. Like, you can't unchoose your vocation, I think. Like, if I wasn't live streaming this, I'd still be doing it. Or I would be drawing. I would, that would be the other thing. Like, the only reason I'm not an art tuber is because the drama there is intense. Art tubers is something else. Like, they're scary. Art tubers are scary. They're just like, let me spill the tea. Oh, I don't. They're just like, oh, let's do a story time. It's either that, or I have managed to only ever run into the drama art YouTubers and stuff, but like, okay, so what would it be? I think, like, I've deliberately stopped, like, when there's a big, huge drama, I, like, back off a little bit and just like, yeah, I'll just let that blow over before I come back and start watching people again. Because otherwise, like, I don't need that in my life. But basically, someone who was big and popular. Yeah, and Jaden didn't need that either. But basically, yeah. No, Twitter is not the place to be. I messed that up. No, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. No, this is just too wide. Basically, one of the really big art YouTubers, who also was one of those people that was just like, let me tell you a story, and like, what would you call it? Throw shade at people? Was just like, yeah, I will tell you a story while I have this drawing in the background that I totally drew, and I did all of this, yada, yada, yada. Turned out to be a total, what? Total, bitch. I do not have a better word for it. Oh, worse than that. From what I understand, art theft was a part of it. She also went ahead and like was stalking people IRL, and harassing people and doing all sorts of stuff like that. Just total utter horrible stuff. But also, when it comes to artists, it seems like, from my experience in real life, they come in. Yeah, harassment is never a good thing. 10 out of 10. Don't harass people. Internet. Don't harass people. It's bad. Artists tend to come in one of two flavors. Either really chill or as high strung as a Hollywood celebrity, I suppose. That's a good analogy. I actually like the skinnier one. So basically, you had the chill artists going, hey, harassment isn't a good thing. Stalking isn't a good thing. All these other things aren't good things. Don't do it. The unchill artists doing call-out posts and fencing drama and making videos off drama because that was how their channels ran. And everyone else in the middle going, holy shit, my friend is actually the worst person to ever exist. Panic. And that was in the time where I was actually considering making my channel, and I was like, do I want to be an artist or a Minecrafter? Well, I don't want to be part of that drama. Let's go be a Minecrafter. And like, soon after that, the whole, like, ew, if you're a Minecraft person, then you're cringe. You're a dream stan. That sort of reared its head. Yeah, I totally could. Like, it'd be a lot of fun. And I do use just like drawings and stuff to plan out a lot of my builds too. Because using like multimedia, I think, is a great way to help plan out builds and things, especially larger builds. Because doing that sort of thing, having the flexibility to work outside of a program to get results within a program is a great tool to be able to use. Da, 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 da. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that is very much true with the haters and stuff. Like, there was other things involved in my decision to be doing this rather than drawing, rather than doing anything else, because it was part of having a challenge with Shade that helped encourage the existence of this channel. So it was kind of a mixture of things. Like, also having the ability to go ahead and show off builds and do tutorials on things and stuff like that. Because when you look at a lot of tutorials, it's, oh yes, how to build a specific thing. And I don't know, it always frustrates me when it's, yes, this is the right way to build. You do it this specific way, not any other way. And it's just like, really? You're going there? It's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I'm sure people have already realized this one. But when you're actually able to go ahead and there was words there. I forgot the words. They've disappeared. It's terrible. But having the ability to actually go ahead and just not worry about having like your whole entire internet history dragged out from under you at a moment's notice because of pettiness, which was what the art community was like at that moment, or what it felt like. Yes, Spelling. I'm pretty sure Spelling's brain just ran away. Like, I'm pretty sure I need like a little bell with like a little bell with a whistle attached to it so I can call it back or something. I think that would be the ideal moment. Spelling's brain is just like a non sequitur. It doesn't exist. It's a figment of imagination. There we go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to add some steps. Remove that piece of glass. It doesn't need to exist. And this will make our steps still feel like they're nice and breezy and big. Because we've got a minimum of 3 blocks in our walkway, which is exactly what we want. Because if we don't have more than 3, it'll make it feel squished when we're walking past these pillars. Which is fine if it wasn't a large walkway, which we don't have. So, I think we will put blue glass in this area. Which do we have? We do not have. Okay. Oh, that was a bullseye. Like, I think if we have to get rid of origins to keep this running smoothly, I will miss the pearl throwing. I won't miss melting in the rain, but I will miss the pearl throwing. But if we get rid of origins, we can get a trident, which is the absolute correct way to fly. No one can prove it to me otherwise. Like, I really do miss flying with a trident. Although we are landlocked. That is the other problem. We are landlocked, so it wouldn't be flying with the trident very often. We need more glass than that. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Because when you fly with a trident, I think you actually fly in a more easy way. Like, it's bunny hopping. But I think you go places in a more predictable pattern. And although it was the way I learned to fly, so maybe it's just a learning bias, which is a whole thing in itself. But sometimes, like, when you learn in a particular way, it tends to be the way that you prefer to do things long term. And so, say you learn to do a T-flip. I suppose T-flip-flops are a thing that people can do in multiple ways. I don't know. I'm not a redstone person. I know you can do a hopper clock. No, hopper clocks can be made in multiple ways. That one I do know. Okay, so I assume that people could make hopper clocks. If you learn how to make a hopper clock in one way, then you'd prefer to make... Okay, a hopper clock, I can show you a hopper clock because I put one somewhere funny. Or we can make one. So a hopper clock is something that was invented by Etho. I'm in a hole. I put myself in a hole. Okay. A hopper clock was invented by Etho in the early days of Minecraft. And yes, Etho slab. Yeah. And what it does is it's a very long redstone clock. And if we just go and grab some materials, we can make one. We need one of these. We need 2 dots of redstone. We need a couple of hoppers. We need some space in our inventory. I'm relying on you to remind me that those are there. A couple of comparators. 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I think I've got everything. Okay, let's see if I remember how to make one of these. Okay, let's give this a go. First, you plop down a thing here so that you can put hopper and then a hopper. So, this is the basis of what it does. Then you have a dust and a dust. Then you have a redstone block. And I have forgotten the sticky pistons. I knew there was something we forgot. Do we have any pistons? Oh, yes, we do. Okay. Couple of pistons. Any slime? Yes, we have slime. Okay, that is just enough slime. Perfect. What happens is this goes the wrong way. And this goes the right way. So we just go like this. And then that there. That goes there. And then at the back here, we have one of these. That points into there. And this points into there. And from there, you have a bit there and a bit there. Yes. Okay. Then, from here, you put some items in. We are only going to go with a little bit of items because we actually want this to go fast. So these tick into here, and when that is finished ticking over, please tell me I've got this right. Okay, this should... I've messed it up. Okay. What have I done wrong here? I think I put this in the wrong place. I am no redstone genius by any stretch of means. I'm pretty sure... no. Okay. Right. This goes... Nope. You know what? Let's just go to the real hopper clock that I have already made. I think that'll be the smarter move. We'll tidy that up later. Okay, if we go to here, bada boom, and then we go over to this monstrosity that barely works. And then over here, so this was made by mashing together 2 farms. But what it does is this is the hopper clock. It's got stuff ticking down. And we're just going to cut this time in half so that we can actually see what happens. Okay. So it's ticking up, got a little bit left, and then that turns that on, which pushes that block in. And yeah, that's what the hopper clock does. It measures really long lengths of time. And you can have this measure like... let's get away from the zombies. What that does is it drowns zombies for us. But what it does is it measures up to, I think it's like a couple of minutes with the amount... No, it's more than a couple of minutes, like 4 or 5 minutes. And from there, you can go ahead and you can make, like, all sorts of stuff happen. because you can measure, because you can link hopper clocks together and get like hours long clocks or days long clocks. Or you can nest them so that when this clock fires, then this clock does a thing or stuff like that. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. I clicked the dragon egg, it's gone somewhere funny. No, 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 no. Oh, no. This is not what I was expecting to be doing today. I can't. Okay, I'm going to spend quite some time after stream trying to find where the dragon leak. Why? Why is this? Oh. Okay. Do I have a shovel with me? I have a shovel with me. Okay. Do we have? Well, it doesn't matter that. Wait, can we use fences for this? I'm not even sure if we can use fences for this. Really? How can we dupe the dragon egg? You can use slabs? Okay. I kind of want to test this. Okay. Slab? Like that? And then does the dragon egg just drop down onto it? We have only one dragon egg. Okay, we got the dragon egg. We also have a mess. What? No, only one dragon egg. I think. Oh, that's not the dupe. Okay. Well, we have our cows all loose. I have a mess of this place. You know what? We can just take the dragon egg with us over to the villages, and we can put it in pride of place. Because, oh my goodness. that was a whole shebang. One of you guys can have a sword. Are you holding anything? Yes, you are. We had to take down the lecterns because the villagers, new villagers over here, they were not taking any trades. So I had to take off the things. It's kind of a mess. Okay. Oh. Dragon egg, you can sit in there for now. Fingers crossed I don't lose you again. And we need our materials. And we'll pick up all of this. Just so we don't lose it. And these go back in here. Perfect. And like one of the things that I think is really good with actually being able to play with color and stuff like you can in modern Minecraft is the fact that you can get such a wide variety of blended shapes and colors and things. Perfect. I have my glass? Yes, I have my glass. Like, for a while when I was playing on 1.4, there wasn't really any stained glass or panes or stuff, and that hurt my soul. Because messing around with stained glass has been something I've done since basically forever. So having that taken away was a big suckage. Like, that inability was huge. Yes. Oh. Oh yeah, like a sand duper. Yeah. I'm kind of considering using a sand duper at some point. But on the other hand, I already have the ability to just create sand. So it's like, I might go that way and see how it works at some point, but I'm unsure. It's worth testing out at some point, maybe. Oh no, we need those. And that will actually give me less stairs than go. Yeah, I have no links in chat. But if you want, you can send it through the Discord. I have a link in my description. And I'll be able to watch it later. Let's get some of these working. Oh! Because I figure if we go ahead and we get some stairs working. Oh! Yeah, I'm just really bad at, what's it called? Advertising it. It's a regular thing of, yes, I have a Discord. Wait, you have a Discord? Yes. Oh. It's pretty quiet there. I'm trying to be social. It's getting there. But yeah, fingers crossed, like, yeah. Okay. Trying to be social on Discord is a whole thing and a half. But I think it's easier than Twitter, I think. Like, I tried doing the whole Twitter thing. Twitter is just so hard. Like, what do you even do on Twitter? Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'd be there for that. Because, like, I tried doing the whole Twitter thing and I was like, yeah, do you post memes? Like, because shower thoughts are just trouble. If you open your mouth on Twitter, everyone's just gonna crucify you. But doing fun stuff like Arctic Phone, that's fun. I'm there for that. Bum, bum. That's in the wrong place. Oop. I'm figuring at this point, if we go ahead and we flatten this out about 2, and then we go ahead and we have this be at the ceiling height. Is this even? Yes, it's even. Perfect. That is completely uneven. We need to remove that. Like, what was it? That was another thing I watched specifically so I could talk about it in stream, and I have completely forgotten. Like, it is completely gone. Hamburgers. And I was like, I really want to remember this, and I have forgotten this. It is kind of sad. And I'm thinking if we put some of this here, Where is that? Okay. Like, having the ability to actually go ahead and just put colors wherever, like, having the confidence to do it, I think is something that is really important with building. Because I think that's half the battle. Because I know, like, when you're in the early stages of a world, it's really hard to actually go and get the materials, and then the materials, like, if you lose a pickaxe or anything like that, it's just like such a big mess up and loss of time and effort. It's just like, oh, now I gotta get 3 more iron. Oh, it only took such a small amount of time to go and get the... Because, like, I think the first time I had a diamond pick, I kept it aside so that I didn't lose it for the longest time. Like, it stayed in the top left corner of my inventory for the longest time. I refused to use it because I was terrified of breaking it. Because it was like, these were the only 3 diamonds I had found. Whereas I dug out an entire chunk, or 2. I think it was more than 2, if I'm being particularly honest, with just iron picks. Because I didn't want to break that diamond pick. And, like, I think that kind of mentality is not always the healthiest. Because you can end up basically sinking so much time and effort into something when it could have been done so much faster with just a little bit of help. And I'm also not worrying that these are all sorts of directions, because in this case, it's okay. It will probably bother me later, if I'm being completely honest. Speaking of which, we really need to light this up, or put slabs. Anywho, that's a later problem. But that kind of thing, like digging holes and doing those sorts of things, it is a learning opportunity. Like, in the end, I ended up actually asking people for help and being like, can I? And they were like, no. Because that was on a multiplayer server. And they were like, no, you have a diamond pick. We've seen you with the diamond pick. And I'm like, I don't want to break it. And they were actually the ones that taught me that, no, you use the item. And then you can come and ask us for help. Funnily enough. Like, and it's stuff like that I think is really important for personal growing. Like, learning when it's good for asking for help and when to stand on your own. Although I am missing the underwater builds. I think that is definitely something I am missing with Origins. One, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. Like, because when you go and you actually have the, what would you call it? The moments of stubbornness like that, of just, yes, I am digging a hole to bedrock because I can. When I started out that hole, I had no intentions of what I was actually putting in there. I just wanted a hole. It ended up being like this magical underground kingdom. But it'd be fun to do that again. But 1, 2, 3. Did I actually have any plans on what was actually going in there? No. And like doing stuff like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. 1, 2, 1, 3. I think it really tests your patience, because like, everyone looks at a random hole in the ground as such a weird build concept. And normally people are just like, okay, crazy person playing in the dirt. And they just leave you be, and they're just like, yes, okay, go build. So you can end up like, depending on how words, how it ends up coming out, it can change how you look at. I'll probably say how you look at your own build style in the end, possibly. Here we go. We have everything sorted, everything organized, everything flattened out. And if we just add some of this, this should be good. Whoop. Like, I definitely recommend digging a hole in the ground at least once for everyone. And actually trying to stick through to the end. Like picking what feels like an impossible task and like not, what would the word be? Not setting yourself up for failure. Because if you know you guaranteed cannot do it, then don't do it. But if it's something that you think you probably can't do, but you think you might be able to do it, that kind of task. And just trying. And knowing if you can't do it, then it's okay. But just giving it a go and setting aside a while and being like, yeah, I can do this. I can give it a go. I can give some time to this. Every X amount of hours, every X amount of days. And then getting to the end of it. Or even within the thing that you're... Let me over the garden wall, please. Okay, new goal, get over the garden wall. There we go. But within that, even breaking it down into smaller goals, like, yeah, I'm clearing away the topsoil layer. I'm going to get down to deep slate. I'm going to break through here, there, and everywhere, etc., etc. And from there, just being able to go ahead and say, yeah, I did that. I was able to do that. And being able to go, yeah. I'm not happy about that. That is probably the best that can do. Like, we could shift that up one or down one, but either way, it's not going to... that's probably the best we've got. Okay. So, when you... and then by the end of it, if you stick it out, because it might take weeks, months, or depending on your project, years, but by the end of it, you'll have something that you're proud of. Your project might grow because you're like, well, I finished that, but I want to continue it. So I'm going to do this new thing. I'm going to turn this hole into a mine or a village or a something else. It might be a pit into the nether. You know, stuff like that. And by doing stuff like that, things that you might think that were unable to be done in the beginning, because you might think that you didn't have the patience for it, you didn't think you had the concentration, the time, the effort, the energy, or anything. Exactly. Experience is the best teacher. It'll show you that you can do it. And in fact, experience is showing me right now that putting a stair here rather than like that, and then swapping this out for a block like this, and then going like this, is actually going to be better. Because that'll help with layering. Boop, boop. And it'll make it look... you'll get to the end and you'll be like, heck yeah, I did that. And it doesn't necessarily be Minecraft. It could be, you might be scared of heights and your goal might be climbing a ladder. Same thing applies. Go up one step. Heck, it might not even be going up one step. It might be get 1 foot off the ground. And that is just as valid. Although, side note on facing real world fears, do it in a safe and healthy manner where if it is based in a actual experience and things like that, make sure that it is not actually something that will actually endanger you first. Like, go and have a spot checker if you need to. Safety first. But, again, getting the right thing in the right place. But, yeah. You know, sometimes I think what I should actually do is I should have, like, an old person beard so I can dispense this wise words of wisdom in these moments. Like, it feels like an old person beard moment. And be like, yes, I am the wise sage of wisdom who is hiding from the rain. At least it's getting nighttime so we can sleep and get rid of the rain. Yeah, definitely having this extra depth is the way to go, I think. Like, personally speaking, having the ability to safely, like, double check your life. Because one thing I try to do when running into new ideas and things like that is examine them like one would a new piece of jewelry or pretty thing. Sort of hold them up to the light. Wait, what have I done here? Okay, we got a square block and then a square. Okay. And then we got it messed up. Going square block. Okay. We have this all messed up. We don't need that. We need that. We don't need that. Okay. And sort of holding it, like mentally taking the new idea, holding it up to the light, or holding it up to what ideas you have already, seeing how it fits with your worldview, and seeing if basically your worldview if this fits with your worldview, if parts of your worldview need changing, or if parts of your worldview, like seeing how it fits with your worldview, seeing how your worldview is flawed in comparison, and etc., etc. So you're doing your best to improve your collection of thought jewels, as it were, at all times. Because the way I see it, as humans, there's no excuse for us to have a bad collection of thoughts. Because thoughts are free. And they're beautiful things. Yeah. Should be able to just stick this in here. And not only that, there's something that you can share around with people and they never lose their value. Not like any other material thing or anything like that. And yeah, this is looking posh. Alright, so if we zoom out, ooh, we got a nice looking thing. I think we're onto something here. Okay. So, as you can see, we're going from very, very simple in the front to a bit more busy in the middle. And we'll be going a bit more busy once we hit the third layer. But we still need to deal with these stairs over here. So, is that a... No, we're good. For a moment... Oh, look at this, look at this! These are turning colors! This is great! Ah! Wait, are any others turning colors? Oh yeah, we have colors turning everywhere! This is great! Ah! Life is good! This is amazing! So the only problem that we've got going on here is the fact that this is sort of in an awkward position. So I figure if we go and just continue the purple, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that this is basically, we're just repeating this immediately. So we'll have 1, 2, and then this whole situation all again. I think it's the way to go. Do we have any with us? No, we do not. Although I'm kind of thinking I did not put any in there. Although I am surprised that this has not done anything funny, because by now we were getting problems. Like, while I was running this over the weekend with the whole shutdowns, I was having problems like twice. Like a lot quicker than this, so maybe it solved itself? I don't know. This has got me super nervous. Wait, are we out of blue? Gosh, I hope we're not out of blue. So, what'll happen is up here, I'm thinking instead of having the white, we'll have more of a posh tiling, because down there, that's designed to get hit by storms and just get generally roughed up. Oh! I forgot I could use that for lapis. Yeah. Or because I've been using that for corn. Or blue. I've been using cornflowers for blue dye. Because, well, there's a lot of them close by. 1, 2, 3. Ah. 1, 2, 3. Put that there. This corner is going to be the bane of my existence. Actually, if we move this over, and then we center this in the middle of this, then we should be able to just have this all flow nicely, probably. Hopefully. 1, 2, 3. That there. 1, 2, 3. So skinny. This is so sad. 1, 2. Okay. We can work with this. We can accept the fact that this is skinny and tiny and terrible. Not really. Okay. Up, up, up. Okay. There we go. Perfect. I think the blue may not be the problem. I think it's more going to be actual terracotta. Oh no, wait, no, we're sorted for that because we have clay that we can smelt. Because one of the outputs of the what's it called? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One of the outputs of the got a word. Of the quartz making machine makes clay balls. And until now, we had no use for the clay balls. They just sort of existed. So we'll be able to use those to make our situation much better. Remove that. And have an awkwardly sized extra bit. Well, that seems about par for the course. So actually, let's get those clay balls all smelting so that we can actually do things. So we'll remove those up into here so we have as much room as possible. Just all the junk. And then we can get all the light going. Yeah, this is going to look great. Oh, we're going to have to move this up one more. So that's now the top. That's now the floor. I did not think this through. Oh well. Doopy doopy doop. I'm looking forward to getting leaves on that. Like, I kind of think if we have, grab some of these. Grab a sleep. Because then, if we do that and have just a general addition of the... in here? No, in this one. Because we have all the clay balls, and that should help with the situation. Although, whether we actually have the amount of blue dye required is the other question that I'm not sure that we have. Because I haven't actually been going directly after the lapis, so it could be a good question there. Lapis, lapis. In which chest did we put the lapis in? Oh! Hey, that's a lot of lapis! I appreciate this greatly. Boop, boop, boop. Perfect. Okay, yeah, I think this is enough. So we'll just stick this into smelt and we will be able to come back for it later. And I kind of added a chest here because I got sick of just waiting for the stuff to come through because I was smelting like a bajillion pieces of glass. So now we have a handy dandy smelting table. I hope this... yeah, that's the right recipe for doing that sort of stuff. So we should be good. We should be good. Doop-a-doo, doop-a-doo. Like, I kind of think with the way recipes... wait, we need to remove a whole bunch of stuff from in here. We need all of this. We need all of that. We need that, and our food. I'm pretty sure there was more stuff that we need to take out of here, but it's fine. It's totally fine. Right? Yeah, we're fine. We're absolutely... wait, there was torches in there. Grab those, and then we can light up the whole area underneath. I'm sure 2 torches is enough. Yoink. Yoink. Hello, underneath here. We're just gonna slap a couple of torches down so you don't actually start turning into a mob spawner. Thanks. Yoink. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So, one of the things I think is big with dealing with concept art and stuff, which is the whole getting things, like the need to draw really quickly, which is important. I understand that it is absolutely important. And, like, the thing that was pushed really big for me was actually having the photos needing to be photo bashed, which is a specific style where you take real world photos and you digitally manipulate them with your own drawing style, with textures and things like that, so that it looks digital. But then it also looks like a piece of digital art. And looking at that sort of thing, because by doing that, you end up with a lot more of a modeling workup. And it gives the idea to the modeling artists a lot quicker. The production managers are able to go yay or nay it a lot quicker as well. And people are able to have a lot more of a, what's the word? Standardized idea on what is happening a lot quicker. Because between artists, like, it's a very, it's a much clearer and generalized look. Because you're still working within, what is that, 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3. You're still working with, it comes out looking a lot more photorealistic as a general whole. And wait, why is there? Oh, that's why a hole's there. Speaking of holes, we go put that there. No, that won't work. What are we going to do in this corner? This corner does not match up in any sort of way. Because by having that sort of commercial look to your stuff, it means that the industry knows that you're going to be able to conform and create industry standard looks. Like, take for instance, Carl Arts Studio. They have a specific style. So when they're making their shows, you know that Carl Arts Studio is the people that make Steven Universe, for example. And they have a specific style that they're generally looking for, that sort of rubber bandy, beanie shape type look. So they're able to go ahead and say, yeah, we don't want an ultra anatomic, anime-esque type style. Instead, we want people... You know what? I actually like this in this corner. We are going to work with it. And they're more likely to go ahead and go, you know, I don't want people who go ahead and draw anime because it messes up the style that we are looking for, and this is too low. So they probably won't hire people who have that whole very muscular type drawing style of, say, a superhero comic. Because it's just not their thing. Put one there, and then we remove this. And that still harkens over to this. And we can fill in here with just a whole bunch of blue. My style, it's quite anime-esque. In fact, just a moment, we can, no, I can't. Yeah, my style is definitely quite anime-esque. It used to be a lot more cartoonish. I went through a realism phase, but I've always enjoyed portraiture, but The funny thing is, I'm actually face blind. That means that I do not register a human face. I do not remember it. So once I look away, the face sort of just poops out of existence in my brain. So when it comes to actually drawing humans, you can imagine how well drawing portraiture goes for me. This is on the wrong level. So the whole drawing of realism never really took off for me. But I found a sort of anime-esque, like somewhere between anime and Marvel-esque type style ended up working for me, as I'd like to call it. Because one of the other things I was interested in was actually drawing comics. And like my backgrounds are definitely not particularly strong. It's not something I'm particularly interested in, but it's something I do force myself to work on. It's like making myself do math. Backgrounds for me are the math of stuff, but I do work on them. That and perspective drawing. Just this is in the wrong place. But anywho, the exact that I can guarantee you that word is just not going to happen. The deliberately out of proportion proportions that exist in comics is a lot of fun to create. Like when you're working with shape language to describe a character. So because when you're dealing with characterizations in cartoons, in comics, in anime, there is shape language to describe characters. Like if you see a character that is all pointy, you know that they're a go-getter or they're a villain, or there is a roughness to that character. If the character is all round and circly, then they're a bubbly, soft type character. And that is something that I think is really, really cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we'll also need some sort of support through here, because having this floating like that. Yeah. A square type character, you know, is like the dependable one. And not only that, but when they mix in those types of shapes, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can end up with like a lot of insight into a character's personality. And in that, I did that wrong again. You can have like a character that is a mixture of square and round shape, for example, meaning that like you look at it and you can infer from their design language, yeah, they're round, they're bubbly and they're soft, but they're dependable. Or it might be the other way. They're dependable, but they might fold under pressure because they're soft on the inside. And it's stuff like that that you're like, oh, that's really cool. Or like, and like, if you're into what's a really common the closest thing I'm thinking of right now that's a really, really common anime right now is like the closest thing I can think of is My Hero Academia. So if you're into that, great. So Ochako is a great example of round shapes. Bakugo is a great example of pointy shapes. So interestingly enough, so is All Might in his skinny form or pointy shapes, but for a completely different reason than Bakugo, because of his whole deflatedness and the fact that he is actually frail and not actually someone who is being expected to be depended on. If that makes sense? Yeah, I feel that. Like, I haven't watched the show, but I read the manga. And because some of the discourse online is just so, ooh, it is a lot. Like, online fat in spaces is, like, it always seems just, everyone gets so enthusiastic and I'm just like, you guys have a lot of energy. I appreciate the fact that you have a lot of energy, but it is too much energy for me. But, oh yeah, sure. In fact, we can do it like this. There we go. Like that. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I'm thinking for the next bit that we bring in some of the blue. Oh, real? In real life monument? Oh, that's cool. Because one. Oh, that'd be really awesome. Like, one of the things that we're going to need to do once we have all the areas in place is come in and fill it with clutter, basically. Because once we go and fill it with clutter, we can add it, or in filling it with clutter is the better way to put it, is we can put in cranes and the wooden jetties to add for the fishermen and barrels and the little wooden extensions and things like that, so that it actually feels like somewhere that's living. So we can have basically a place where we can have it feel like this is somewhere where villagers will dock, as well as dignitaries and places like that. So we can come around here and add like wooden steps down to a little jetty type thing, as well as like a big gangplank up to a ship. Although we probably won't be building the ship for quite some time because, one, I have no idea how to build a ship. Two, I have no idea how to build a ship. Three, ships scare me. Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah. I had not expected, actually. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'll probably try it in a test world first. Bye! Because, like, losing the dragon egg is not something I want to do. And I've done that before. Right. I think, where are we up to? I think over here, we just need to do this pillar and add a bit of fluff to it. And then I think this should make, oh, not that one. We don't need any more sunshine on the pillars. And then that should make it all pop nicely and look fancy. Yeah, yeah. Okay, we're looking good. Maybe another piece of ice. Like, I wasn't expecting ice to look this amazing with the pillars, but I am pleasantly surprised. Okay, and the last thing, I think we are actually going to need a support through here because otherwise this is going to float too much. And I'm not here for floating pillars. Whoop. And I don't think we need too much, just like a little bit, just sitting around doing its thing. So if we go ahead and we just do the rest of this, like so, then we can just make sure everything sits nicely, exists, and looks good. Because then this should all exist. There we go. Perfect. That should be all of it. Fingers crossed, I think. Perfect. So, from there, what we basically want to be doing is really wishing we had frog lights. But since we don't have frog lights, which, personally speaking, I think is something that is a total shame and needs to be fixed soon. Luckily, we have poles. There we go. We have tadpoles. So we will actually be able to fix the whole frog light situation pretty soon. And we will be able to come in later and put like a frog light here on each of these things. But since we don't have frog lights right now, we are just going to come along and fill this in and pretend it doesn't exist. That is the exact regular, reasonable thing to do. And thank goodness we have more endstone on us, because I don't feel like going on another hunt, because that's the other thing that it happens on a regular basis. Okay. So now we got that all covered. And, oh, actually, new idea. Where was that? I've just realized we filled this in too hastily, because another thing that we could do, and I have to be careful about this, is we can repeat the pattern that we did down there up here. And by doing that, we need stairs. We have thought about this in the wrong order. Okay. And here. Okay. Make here. We missed entirely, but that's all good. Here. Because if we fill those in with stairs, then that'll give us less of a huge chunk of endstone pattern just staring us smack in the face, which is not exactly what we want. Especially for this kind of build. Because I'm kind of wanting lots of life, colour and pattern as a big, fancy welcoming to the city. But not a big bunch of just slap you in the face texture. Like, having lots of different types of texture is one thing, but having a big slap you in the face single texture just staring at you from across the room, that is something completely different, and we are not here for it. Yep. So what we'll be able to do is just go ahead and probably get 2 stacks of stairs. I don't think we need more. And we will also be able to get rid of all of this and all of the glass. Just squish that all down. We don't need it. It doesn't need to exist. And go this way. And yep. Loop. Okay, so I figure if we go ahead and we just put our stairs up the wrong way both times, we don't need to worry about that. Move that. Oop. And just come across like so. What this does is when we actually go ahead and we fill in everything, we're going to have pattern. And it is good. Pattern is where we're at. Okay. And so by actually going ahead and doing this, although it's the same type of block, it does provide that visual breakup of stuff, and you still get a continuity that otherwise wouldn't be there. If we get rid of this, I don't think we need this. I think we need something else. And how would we deal with this? I think we'll just go ahead and have an extra long one. Like, dealing with these sorts of ones, the extra long types of situations is a bit tricky. But hey, we exist for this sort of thing. We exist for problem solving. So we'll be able to go ahead and put all of this into all sorts of places and have fun. Perfect. Boop, boop, boop. Done. So now, if we go ahead and we just plop a whole bunch of this into the awkward places. Not those awkward places. Everything will come up perfect. And you can see how that just... well, it mirrors there. So it sort of gives the idea that these are gutters without anything actually causing too much trouble. Actually, I really like that. That actually looks really good now. That actually has a visual purpose. Boom, boom, boom. Boop. Do, 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 do. And we're good. There. Perfect. So now that we got that, all we need to do is this will need to be raised up 1 and then 2. So that will match this. And we're good. Because, and I think what we'll do here is instead of actually trying to have it all match up, we will figure something out at a later date. That's just troublesome. And we can actually have this just sort of flow through. I think it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Totally fine. Okay, so I figure next step from here is actually to go and continue on with the floor. quartz block, we don't need quartz block. Bone block we need, cut limestone we need. We don't need any of those or that. We will worry about trying to find it out later at a later date. Yep. Perfect. And food. Food. We need food. Perfect. And where did we put the items? In here. Okay, so we take a little bit of mushroom stem because we like the color. We take some cut limestone because we like that as well. Some of that, some of this. We are running hilariously low on this. I mean, we started out with a whole shulker box of this stuff. I swear, it was a whole shulker box. Is there a whole shulker box anymore? No, it's just full of other stuff. But hey, we appreciate it. And then all we have to do is we go like this. Some of this, some of that. Some bones. Which ones are our bones? There are our bones. We are good. We are set. More of that. And we shall go and put this all into place. And then once this is in place, we'll be able to actually put the rest of it. Meow. Perfect. So what are we dealing with? We are dealing with... We need some mushroom stems here. We go like that. That'll stop everything from actually messing with each other. Which is the important thing. Wait, what? Oh, what is that? Perfect. And then if we go and grab some limestone. Because the whole point is not to let the things touch each other, basically. And then we'll probably have another patch over here. Because having these patches not touch each other is a big thing. What? Or, you know, we can land in the water and really hurt. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay. Let's try that again. Maybe we should cover up the watery bits first. Because if we cover up the watery bits, then we won't be falling in the watery bits. And that will be probably safer. Like, all the way safer. Oop. I mean, to the person that created bone blocks, you did an amazing job with the sound. I can appreciate the sound on the bone blocks. It is a nice sound. Doopy-doo. Doopy-doopy-doo. Doopy-doopy-doo. And if we cover up the water, then it makes us so much safer. We will not melt. And we're not wanting the pieces that big, and much bigger, all the way big. Something along those lines. This sounds like English. Perfect. That block can stay there. Fine. Like, being able to actually go ahead and have everything all put in a way that you want it to be put and have a design laid out and being able to execute your design. I think more lies in how you, the mixture of the confidence in your ability to build and your ability to plan out your builds. And that doesn't mean necessarily going into creative mode. and building it out block for block. I think it's more along the lines, personally speaking, of having a planning style that's right for you. So if that's more along the lines of pulling out a pen and paper and being like, I want a tower that stretches from build limit to build limit, for example, and I want it to have all the farms in there, then being able to figure out what kinds of farms are incompatible with each other in the same area is important, and being able to plan for that sort of thing. But being able to actually go ahead and execute it, if you're not someone who wants or is able to actually deal with, you know, working it out in creative mode first, if that's not your thing, then going and having like a checklist or something like that, if that's your thing, then working out the way that works for you, I think, is an important thing. Because having someone go and say, yes, this is the way, this is the absolute way, is not on. It's not a good way of living life. And following people going, this is the way. Gosh, I sound like the Knuckles meme right now. This is the way. I know the way. Yep, okay. Oh, my goodness. But having, like, the capability to go ahead and figure out, yeah, I plan best with a drawing program. I plan best with an Excel sheet. I plan best in creative mode in Minecraft. Doing things that way, I think it's important. Figuring out how you plan best, especially when it comes to building it for Minecraft or whatever you want to apply that to. Because when you're able to actually go ahead and apply that to other things, then you're able to go ahead and apply that to other more boring things in life. Because, oh yeah, you want to go ahead and apply that to study, dare I say housework, dare I say homework, or anything like that. Well, then, yeah, congratulations. I really should have taken my own advice. Oh, I wish I knew that a long time ago. But yeah, by doing that sort of thing, no one's universal, and I am not supposed to be cutting that up. But when you go and you learn those sorts of skills, and you learn, yeah, I learn best by, or I plan best, I should say, by actually running a jog, for instance, and thinking about what I want to think about, because my brain works best when I'm moving. Well, congratulations. Then having that sort of thought pattern and going and building that into your day. Am I wearing my umbrella? Yes, I am. That's great. It makes life so much easier. Let's just build that up, and then we'll move on to the next bit. Because having the ability to figure out your life around how you think, or at least make your own accommodations for brain think, as much as you can, because sometimes life does just throw you a curveball and is like, oh, congratulations, here's a curveball. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. You don't get to do your jog today because it's a typhoon, it's a flood, it's something. Or you have to go on a plane. There is something that is stopping you from going on a jog, but you also have to think. So having the ability to realize that that is also something that is going to happen. And being able to go, okay, yeah, that I think best when I run. But I also know that I can mitigate the brain fog by actually going and having like 10 minutes and doing some stretches, for example. And that can really help. And by having these sorts of contingencies in place, that was the wrong block, but I think I'm going to keep it there because mushrooms are a pain to pick up. Yeah, this is looking good. This is looking real good. And by figuring those sorts of things out, you can end up going a lot further, personally speaking, than you would if it just, oh yes, the correct way to do this is by writing things down multiple times. Congratulations. And for some people, writing things down multiple times is the best way. But it's not always the right way for you. And that's okay. That is possibly too big of a bone block area, but I'm kind of there for it. And we can live with it. Let's just put in some mushroom, because we haven't had too much mushroom for a while. And I like it. A little bit of mushroom here. And we have almost finished with the water. This is great. Do-do. Oh. So when you have basically a whole difference in way of looking at things, I think you can end up like, if you're a jogger and your friends say they like to draw and you like to jog to think, it can end up feeling a bit weird when the two of you are like, oh yeah, I'm at a crossroads. I need to jog, you need to draw, but we also need to discuss things. Because your drawing is mutually incompatible with my jogging or this exercise that we're doing. So you might end up deciding that I'll go for a quick run, you'll go for a quick draw, and we'll meet back and we'll see what we've come up with, and then we'll talk again. And doing things like that, meeting people in the middle when you're dealing with other people, is also a very valuable skill. Because it's also something that a lot of people have trouble with. And it's just sometimes really important to realize that they may not be a jogger or a drawer, or they just may not think the way you think. And that's okay. As they just may need to understand that you don't think the way they think. And that's sometimes hard to know. Okay. have a look at how this looks. Yeah. So we'll be implementing some of this patterning through here just after we've finished. I probably have not been blinking this entire show, this entire live stream. I've been wearing my anti-blinking glasses. Oh my goodness. My eyes have probably been acting very funny. There we go. Oh my goodness. There we go. Let's see some blinks. Oh yes, there are blinks. There are blinks. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, there is a problem solved. Okay. But we'll be adding some patternings to the Warf so that basically what'll happen is this will be the base, and then the patterns will flow across and basically be like a welcome mat to whoever comes through. And from there, basically, as we go up higher, it'll get progressively fancier until we are at the top part. Oop. What are we coming up here for? Oh, right. More of everything. Yep. So, from there... what were we talking about? I have forgotten. It does not matter. It probably does matter, but I will remember at a later date. Nothing else. We are running out of limestone. We may need to grab some. Bone block, calcite. Got some of this up. Perfect. Look at that. So, it is quite interesting sometimes, I think. Like, you see a lot of just general odd behavior on the internet that you don't actually see in real life, and it makes me wonder. Because there does tend to be quite a disconnect between, like, when you watch a person online versus watching them in real life. Like, even when it's a stage play, there is less of a disconnect between personality and the player and real life versus online. So it does make me wonder if the mental disconnect is more similar, to being in a movie. Like, if you look at a online creator and comparing them to an actor in a movie, not the actor themselves, but the character they portray, because of the fact that they do portray actors. So whether or not it's more along the lines of, are the people who are considering these people online more considering these people as actors? But then comes the question of when they're actually giving over what would you call it? Responsibility. Giving responsibility over not to the character that they talk about and consider the person to be much like, but to the person themselves. It's an interesting phenomenon. Because if one cannot give a person online of large influence their own space, their own identity, their own privacy. Is that not how one would treat a creature of fiction? But if one is treating a creature of fiction so, then why would one be treating a real person this way? It's kind of that whole disconnect. But then again, it's the same sort of thing the other way around. So it's like, well, I see that. And I see the fact that these guys called those guys out and caused trouble. But is it really the same and the other way around? That these, what would you call them? Rude YouTubers? Call other people out and then be like, oh, woe is me, woe is me. Like, I don't think, like, sometimes it makes me wonder if people remember about the whole adage of do unto others as you want to be done unto. Or, I think that's how it goes. It's something like that. It's quite a mess. It does make you wonder, though. Fill that in like that. Perfect. Okay. Like, I think that. And how big's that? Okay, so I think we'll be able to just go like so. Yeah. And then we'll branch this out like this, and then fill in there with mushroom. Pop, pop. Perfect. Because again, with the mushroom, it isn't there to be a regular block. It's just there to be only occasional, because I don't want to use up many mushrooms at all. Because it takes so much to gather the mushrooms. Okay. Where are we up to? Let's grab some of this. Because, like, I do wonder, like, when you have all of those kinds of things coming together, like, do you end up, is it even worth it? Like, just generally being rude on the internet and being a not worth it person? Because it takes so much energy just to be angry all the time. Like, what's the point? It's not something I've ever really understood, is why? If you choose to be not necessarily, if you choose to lead by the example of a better person, not by beating someone down verbally or shouting down someone or anything like that, but by being the better person, by helping people out, by actually lifting other people up, it makes the world better for everyone. So it always confuses me as to why people are left just shouting at each other on the internet. Like, is it a communication problem? Is it a what? So, with that, like, where does it stand? That is a zombie. Where is my calcite? But then again, no zombies required here. But then again, I suppose it's the old adage of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. So, in other words, someone you can offer someone new ideas and new thoughts, but if they're not interested in actually thinking those new ideas or thoughts or considering them or anything like that, it's not much point to it. And there's no point in just saying them louder or angrier or anything like that. The only way about actually going to change someone's mind is more about questions of dialogue or anything like that. Because if someone gets angry and just starts yelling, then I don't know about you, but that sounds like a waste of dealing with that energy. That sounds more like a time to just turn around and walk away, and we missed the spot. Let's see if we can get that. Yes, we can. Perfect. So, it's always interesting, I think. Can we go up? We can go up. Perfect. Where do we need to get this stuff? Now we have the quartz. We need our last pieces. Okay. So I think once we finish this, I think that's that. We either need to move on to a new task or a new... Or we go digging for it. Technically, there is somewhere where we can get it close by. But it's covered in skulk. Oh my goodness, so much skulk. Do-do-do-do. Okay, there we go. Grab some bones. Like, kind of thing. There was an interesting study. No, it wasn't a study. What was it called? I think it was a thought experiment done about a fictional town that was basically given all of these fancy things. But then basically the town was like, yeah, but we don't want all of these fancy things. We don't want biometric sensors. We don't want all of this. And we don't want all of that. And the whole point of it, the biometric sensors and stuff, was they wanted to be as eco-friendly as possible, yada, yada, yada. And like they were putting plant pots everywhere and stuff like that to help stop cars being actually going anywhere. And there were cameras watching to see who went places and stuff like that. Let's branch this out this way. And what it was doing, the biometrics and stuff, was for automatic payment. And the villagers were like, oh yeah, we don't want it. And the council was like, well, congratulations, you got it. And the villagers were like, can you take it away? And the villagers were like, and the place was like, yeah, but it's already there. You got it. And so what ended up happening in this thought experiment was the villagers ended up choosing self-governed anarchy because basically they were able to get together and choose that, hey, what's it called? Mayor? I think that's the word. Yeah, mayor. The brain is just not doing its thing anymore. Our mayor is just not doing... Our mayor is not doing the thing. Our mayor is not working in the best interest. We're electing a new council, and we really need some help. So they elected a new council, and they were like, yeah. But with the thought experiment was, if I remember correctly, in the thought experiment, it ended up breaking down into the fact that this happened a couple of times more because they were like, yeah, we can do this whenever we feel like now. Which was an interesting way to go about the thought experiment, because it's like, this concludes that this is the inevitable end of human nature. Whereas that's not necessarily the case, because it's like, if you're looking at that, you're concluding that humans are expected to always argue and fall into arguments. But if that is the takeaway from this, then why are we in cities? Why have we managed to get this far in the first place? Like, it felt, while there seemed like a grain of truth to it, it felt short-sighted. And I think with that thought experiment, I think it left out a few things. Like, personally speaking, I think with people, there is a lot to be garnered with actually going and talking about differences and dealing with them on a one-to-one basis, which I think, communication-wise, is where a lot of problems start. Because when communication isn't dealt with clearly, you end up with a lot of grumbles that could have been ended very quickly, and that is the wrong place for this. Can I? Yes, I can. Great. Oop. Perfect. Whereas, if you go ahead and just get a point across without causing huge amounts of ruckus, it won't always get across without huge amounts of ruckus. But the optimal solution should be getting a point across without huge amounts of ruckus. Because if one doesn't, then, well, the only thing left to do is escalate, and that's not really fair. And hey, we finished it! We finished the first floor! Woohoo! I think we made a mob farm. I'm hearing mobs. We're gonna sneak into here. Oh, yep, there be mobs. Yep, there be mobs. Okay. So, I think we need to light that up. There's our next step. Or sleep. Sleep is definitely our next step, actually. Boop, boop, boop. And actually, I've just seen the time. I need to go, so I will say goodbye. Thank you all for coming. It's been a great time.